For us was surprising. He came down, he took a racket, he's playing to her, he gives some tips to.
There's a moment in sports that doesn't get talked about enough. It's not the trophy lift, it's not the comeback win. It's the quiet moment before all of that, when a young athlete looks at everything that has gone wrong, everything that has exposed them, everything that has embarrassed them in front of the world, and instead of flinching, they walk straight back into it. That is exactly where Alex is right now. And if you don't understand the full weight of what she's carrying into Rome this week, you're missing one of the most compelling stories in women's tennis. So let's slow it down and actually tell it properly. Cast your mind back to May 7th, 2025, the Foro Italico, Rome, one of the most beautiful tennis venues on the planet. Red clay, history soaked into every corner, the kind of place where legacies are made. And on that day, a 19-year-old Filipina named Alex walked onto that court for her Italian Open debut and got absolutely taken apart. Marta Kostyuk beat her 6-1, 6-1, 96 minutes, one game, one single game across the entire match. For any other player, that kind of scoreline might just be a bad day. For Alex, it became a ghost. Because clay wasn't just a surface she was learning. It was a surface that seemed to actively reject her. Everything that made her dangerous on hard courts, the pace, the angles, the explosive movement, none of it translated the way she needed it to on clay. And the brutal truth that her closest supporters quietly carried through the rest of that season was this: clay might be the thing that keeps her from becoming truly great. Fast forward to the present. Alex is 20 years old now. She's sitting at number 41 in the world after peaking at a career-high 29 just weeks ago in March. That 6-spot slide sounds small until you understand exactly why it happened. It wasn't form, it was math. The WTA ranking system works on a rolling 52-week calendar, which means the extraordinary points she earned during last year's Miami semifinal run, that historic breakthrough moment that made the whole world pay attention, those points have now expired off her ledger. She played brilliantly a year ago, and the system is now collecting what it's owed. That's the cold reality of professional tennis. Your past performances don't protect you forever. So, what does she have to defend in Rome? 10 points. 10. The ghost match that haunted her for 12 months is now, paradoxically, her biggest advantage. Because when you have almost nothing on the board to protect, every point you win is pure gain. Every round she advances this week moves her forward. On the rankings, not sideways, not backwards, forward. The math has finally swung in her favor, and she walked into Rome knowing that. But math alone doesn't win matches, and the draw she's stepping into is not kind. Kostyuk is in the field, Leylah Fernandez is there, Elise Mertens is there. 3 players who have either beaten Alex this season or humiliated her on clay before. And Rome's clay sits in the middle of a 2026 swing that has been, to put it plainly, rough. She opened the European clay season in Stuttgart and lost in the first round to Fernandez, 6-1, 4-6, then Madrid, second round exit against Mertens, 6-2, 6-1. Those scorelines sting. They don't just sting because of the losses themselves. They sting because of what they suggest, that even with all the improvement, all the work, clay is still the surface that doesn't belong to her yet. Greg Rusedski, former world number 4 and one of the most vocal supporters she has in the commentary world, said it honestly after Madrid. He didn't sugarcoat it. He acknowledged the margins were a problem. And when a supporter that loyal says that out loud, you sit with it for a second. But here is what you also have to sit with. What has Alex actually been doing between those losses? Because the answer to that question is where this story gets genuinely extraordinary. About 3 weeks before her flight to Rome, Alex was back, at the Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca. If you've never heard of that place, picture it as the most serious tennis laboratory in the world. The kind of place where the sport's deepest technical work gets done quietly, away from cameras, away from crowds. It's where her primary coach, Joan Bosch, set up their clay block this spring. Bosch is the man who has been with Alex since her junior years. He is the engineer who constructed everything she has become. He was in her box during the Miami semifinal that changed her life. He speaks about her the way architects speak about buildings they've spent years designing. And earlier this season, he sat down with Tennis Up to Date and said something that I don't think got nearly enough attention. He called working at the academy, with the coaches and the people around her, he called it like being at NASA. Not like being at a good coaching facility, NASA. That is a specific word chosen deliberately. He's describing an environment where the science of tennis is being applied to her game at a level that most players on tour will never experience. And then there's the part of this story that still doesn't feel completely real when you say it out loud. According to Bosch, roughly 3 weeks before Rome, they were deep in a serve session on one of the academy's clay courts. No announcement, no fanfare. And then Rafael Nadal himself walked down to the court. Not because anyone asked, not because it was scheduled. He just came down. He watched. And then the greatest clay court player in the history of tennis started, giving Alex advice on her serve. He came down and gave some tips, Bosch said, because she's left-handed like him. And it helped a lot. Later, Rafa actually hit with her. If you are a tennis fan and that sentence doesn't make the hairs on your arms stand up, then I don't know what will. This is a 20-year-old player, a girl from the Philippines who was playing in ITF Futures not long ago, standing on a clay court, while Rafael Nadal corrects her serve from personal experience as a fellow left-hander. Bosch also mentioned that Carlos Moya, another legend, another icon of the game, has been part of the environment around her this spring. And sitting above, it all is Tony Nadal, Rafa's uncle, the man who built Rafa's entire clay court architecture. The coach who was courtside for all 14 Grand Slam titles, including every single one of Rafa's 10 Italian Open championships. 10 Italian Open titles. Every single one constructed under Tony Nadal's eye. And this spring, Tony Nadal became Alex's clay court specialist. He's coordinating directly with Bosch. He's helping reshape the way she approaches this surface. The woman who lost 6-1, 6-1 in Rome last year is now preparing for Rome under the direct guidance of the man who made Rome his private kingdom 11 times over. How is that not the most cinematic subplot in tennis right now? But here's the part of the story that Bosch focused on that matters most in a tactical sense. He said clay was where she was more raw, where she had more to improve. He said she is now moving much better on the surface. And then he said the specific thing that cuts right to the heart of what Kostyuk exposed 12 months ago. He said she is sliding now, which is not easy when it doesn't come naturally. Sliding on clay is everything. It's the single movement skill that separates clay court players from hard court players who happen to be playing on clay. When you can slide, you can defend. You can construct points. You can stay in rallies that would otherwise eat you alive. When you can't slide, clay punishes every step and you end up playing like you're running on ice in the wrong shoes. The fact that Bosch is specifically flagging her sliding improvement is not a small note. It's him telling the world that the exact vulnerability that made that Rome debut so brutal has been identified, targeted, and rebuilt. Now let's step away from the technical side for a second, because there's another dimension to Alex's story that you can't ignore if you want to understand why this moment feels so significant. April 20th, Madrid. The Laureus World Sports Awards, one of the most exclusive events in global sport. Olympic champions, world record holders, the absolute pinnacle of athletic achievement gathered in one room. And walking that red carpet, surrounded by all of them, was a 20-year-old tennis player in a custom Filipiniana gown. The fabric was piña, one of the most revered traditional textiles in the Philippines. The gown was designed by her uncle Rhett Ayala, and it was sewn and shipped from Manila to Madrid in just a matter of days. When she spoke to the press that night, she didn't perform humility. She was direct. She said she had always dreamed of wearing a Filipiniana on a major red carpet. She said Laureus was the perfect moment, and she meant it. The WTA posted that. Arrival on their Instagram, 78,000 likes. nearly 900 comments. She wasn't a footnote at that event. She was the conversation. And I think about what that image means for a 12-year-old girl growing up in Quezon City or Cebu watching that on her phone. Because Alex isn't just carrying a flag. She's expanding what's possible in the imagination of an entire generation of Filipino athletes. Manny Pacquiao said it in Tagalog on television. He said watching her makes him proud because she is Filipino. He said the Philippines needs more like her. When Manny Pacquiao stops to publicly praise your tennis player, you have crossed into something cultural, something larger than rankings, something larger than any single tournament result. Laureus doesn't invite athletes who are trending. Laureus invites athletes who are ascending. And they saw in Alex something permanent, not a moment, but a trajectory. Which brings us back to the clay. After Madrid, after that second-round exit against Mertens, Alex did something that I think reveals more about her character than almost anything else this season. She was scheduled to play the WTA 125 event in Catalonia the week before Rome. A small tournament, relatively low stakes, a chance to get matches on clay before the big stage. She withdrew, not because she was injured, because she made a choice. She decided that rest, recovery, and full preparation for Rome mattered more than extra matches and extra points. She didn't retreat from the European swing. She edited it. She looked at what she needed most, and she chose it without apology. And then hours after leaving Madrid, she posted on Instagram. One of those moments that tells you everything about where someone's head is. She wrote that she was grateful for her time there and that she would be back stronger. Not devastated, not defensive, grateful and forward-looking. Then she closed the phone and started preparing for Rome. There are players in this sport who respond to bad losses by hiding, by downgrading, by finding smaller stages so the pain doesn't sting as much. Alex did the opposite. She came back to the exact city, the exact tournament, the exact red clay that handed her the most embarrassing scoreline of her young career, and she walked through those gates as if she'd been planning this return for 12 months. Because she has. So here's what I want you to actually picture. Not the rankings, not the draw, the moment itself. A 20-year-old woman from the Philippines, coached by the architect of Rafa Nadal's clay court dominance, with Rafa's own fingerprints. Literally on her serve, wearing her nation's fabric on the world's most prestigious sporting red carpet 3 weeks before stepping back onto the court that broke her. She's not trying to survive Rome. She's not trying to manage expectations. The way she's talked about this clay swing, the way Bosch has talked about what's been built, the way she stood in that academy and absorbed everything Nadal and Tony and Moya had to give her, it doesn't sound like a player hoping for a good result. It sounds like a player who has decided what happens next. Now I want to be honest with you, because I think she deserves honest conversation more than she deserves hype. The losses in Stuttgart and Madrid were heavy, the margins weren't close. And the players waiting in Rome's draw, Kostyuk, Fernandez, Mertens, they are not going to make anything easy. Kostyuk in particular still carries the ghost of that 6-1-6-1 demolition, and she is a ferocious clay court competitor. If Alex runs into her again, it will not be a gentle test. It will be the exam. And we'll find out very quickly whether the work done at the Nadal Academy was preparation or just narrative. But here's what I keep coming back to. Every single improvement that Bosch described, the sliding, the movement, the serve, the clay-specific strategy, all of it was designed specifically for this moment. Not for the future in some abstract sense, for Rome, for Roland Garros, for these exact 5 weeks in front of her. And the points math is genuinely remarkable when you map it forward. She has 10 points to defend in Rome and 10 at Roland Garros, 20 total points across the 2 biggest clay events on the calendar. The entire upper half of the WTA rankings is sitting there like an open road. A run to the 3rd round in Rome is net positive. A quarterfinal pushes her back toward her. Career high? A deeper run, anything beyond that, starts making conversations about the top 32 and automatic Grand Slam seeding feel real before Paris. Roland Garros opens on May 24th. Wimbledon follows that. The clay block she's in right now is not just about clay. It's the foundation for the most important stretch of tennis she will play in her young career. And she built that foundation at NASA, with Rafa's hands on her serve. And she's walking into Rome with almost nothing to lose and everything to gain. 12 months ago, this city handed her one game. She didn't delete that memory. She used it. She studied it. She brought in the greatest clay court minds alive and she said, "Show me what I was missing." And now she's back. This is not the story of a player who has already conquered clay. I want to be completely clear about that. This is the story of a player who has decided she will. There's a difference. One is a result. The other is a commitment. And everything she has done this spring, every choice, every session, every conversation, every sacrifice, it points in one direction. She chose Rome. She chose the hard surface. She chose the ghost. And when you watch her walk onto that Foro Italico clay this week, understand what you're actually seeing. You're not watching a player trying to prove something to critics. You're watching a player prove something to herself. The coronation hasn't happened yet, but she's already in the building. And this time she knows exactly where to stand.